All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking StartupWiki. It's a disruptive new tool that is seriously making waves right now because it aims to completely eliminate the friction in early-stage startup research. I mean, if you've been doing any kind of market analysis lately, especially in the fast-moving AI news space, you know exactly how painful data gathering has become. We're going to look at exactly how this lightweight no-auth platform works, the specific trade-offs it makes, and what it really means for the future of open discovery. Now, I want you to think about your current workflow for a second. We've all been there, right? You're chasing down a lead on some fascinating new AI company, you click a link and boom, immediately you hit a mandatory account creation prompt or some opaque, confusing dashboard. It completely kills your momentum when literally all you want is just the raw data. Well, that exact everyday frustration is exactly why this platform was built. The maintainer behind StartupWiki basically built this tool out of pure frustration with modern research. I mean, let's be honest, legacy databases have become increasingly hostile. They're locking basic metadata behind steep subscription paywalls and forcing you into cluttered interfaces that are optimized to upsell you, not to actually give you answers. And for developers, it's a total nightmare. Just think about it. Cookie consent banners alone can entirely block a headless browser script from grabbing simple, publicly available data. The whole modern research process is just full of friction.
Which brings us to Section 1, Introducing StartupWiki, the Wikipedia-style alternative.
What's really interesting here is the deliberate simplicity of it all. Look at what's missing. There are no login gates, no tiered access levels, no hidden metrics. StartupWiki functions purely to put company information directly on the page the second you land on it. It's an incredibly lightweight, early-stage project that offers structured startup profiles, direct search and filtering capabilities, and clear company categorization instantly, without any of the usual hassle. Moving right along to Section 2, Legacy versus Open Data, and choosing access over depth. So here's the reality. You really can't have both lightning speed and bottomless depth unless you have a massive enterprise budget. StartupWiki actively sacrifices deep historical tracking and executive network mapping in exchange for raw, open discovery. Legacy databases, they rely on heavy JavaScript and complex relationship graphs to justify those high subscription costs. StartupWiki inverts that completely. It uses simpler HTML structures and a flat schema. Sure, you lose the granular funding round histories, but you gain immediate readability without ever having to hand over your email address. Because this platform relies heavily on publicly available signals and community-sourced updates, there is a golden rule you absolutely need to follow. Treat it as a discovery layer, not a verification source. Think about it. Early-stage startups often don't even have public funding announcements, major press coverage, or regulatory filings yet. So if you're building an AI agent or a market analysis dashboard, StartupWiki gives you what is openly available right now. It's a fantastic starting line, but it really shouldn't be our finish line.
Let's get into Section 3, inside the AI directory, looking at some real-world listings.
When you actually look at the directory, you immediately get categorized data spanning the whole spectrum. You've got massive labs like Anthropic sitting at Series H for AI safety, right alongside Pinecone for vector databases at Series C, and then Thinking Machines Lab at the seed stage for AI fine-tuning. It's clean, it's immediate, and the best part? No one is forcing you to click through 3 different gated tabs just to find out what stage of funding a company is in. It is all just right there. But it's not just AI, which is super cool. The directory spans multiple industries with that exact same frictionless visibility. You've got colossal biosenses in biotech, SpaceX in aerospace, and Replit and developer tools. Whether you're tracking de-extinction genetics or serverless cloud compute platforms, the underlying architecture treats all this metadata with the exact same flat, accessible respect. Now here's a surprising fact. The directory currently lists 0 companies under recently added microbusinesses. So what does this actually tell us? Well, it proves this is still very much early days for StartupWiki, and that it's heavily reliant on upcoming community contributions. The platform is essentially waiting for indie hackers and small SaaS builders to step up and claim their space. It is a community research directory at its core, which means its ultimate utility is going to scale directly with the community's willingness to populate those missing gaps. All right, Section 4, Developer Integration Guidelines and how we're navigating the pre-API era. For the developers tuning into this explainer, the immediate benefit here is massive. You can parse the site directly without dealing with session management or proxy rotation, provided you respect standard crawling etiquette, of course. Because there's no authentication layer, the barrier to entry for building your own quick market validation tools essentially drops to 0. Scripts that used to just break because of token rotation can now run peacefully against a single base URL. Honestly, it's an absolute playground for trend analysis right now.
But I do have to issue a crucial warning here. Because the official public API is still actively in development, building a production pipeline that scrapes this early-stage web interface is highly, highly fragile. Without official endpoints, you're relying entirely on HTML parsing. Class names get refactored, pagination logic shifts around, DOM structures change. The maintainer explicitly notes that the API is currently being worked on, so that's your giant flashing signal to hold off on committing heavy engineering resources to parsing the front-end layout. So, when the maintainer does finally roll out that official API, make sure you request these specific criteria before you commit your engineering time. You've got to verify their versioning strategy. You need to know if they're going to introduce some sort of authentication method down the line, and you absolutely need to validate their schema definitions. Until that API drops, the smartest move for you is to implement robust error handling, log any parsing failures, and treat the current live site strictly as a manual validation tool.
Finally, Section 5, the road ahead, shaping the future of open discovery. Until we get that stable API release, the platform really acts as a supplementary data point, one that improves fastest when developers actually step up to report broken filters and missing categories. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to consider how integrating an open, frictionless discovery layer could actively accelerate your own upcoming projects. Look, StartupWiki isn't trying to replace massive enterprise data infrastructure. It's just solving a core access problem. So, I'll leave you with this provocative thought. What could you build right now if data discovery wasn't hidden behind a paywall? Use StartupWiki where open access matters, verify where accuracy matters, and keep building.